Welcome back, students of Standard 8. Today, under this topic tokens, we'll be discussing literals, separators, and if time permits, we'll also discuss the operators. Let us understand the first one, that is literals. What are literals? As we have already discussed in the previous class, literals are the constants or the values that remains fixed throughout the program. Okay, they do not change. In Java, there are 6 types of literals found. The first one is integer literal. Integer literal refers to whole numbers. Okay, so when we assign whole numbers to a variable, in that case, the number is called integer. That means, like for example, x is equals to 5. When we say x equals to 5, then it is an integer. So this is integer. 5 is an integer we are assigning to x. Okay. Of course, we'll have to write the data type, which I will be discussing later. And then we have floating. Floating literals are those literals which are in a fractional form. That is on the real form, real numbers. Okay. Like for example, we have x is equals to 5.17. So when you write 5.17, this is a fractional form. Okay. So since it is a fractional form, it is known as a floating literal. These are the examples, please remember. Then we have character. A character literal refers to an alphabet or a digit or any symbol, okay, which are singular within single inverted comma. For example, if I write here x equals to a, it's an alphabet, so this is a character. A is a character. Another one, suppose if I write 5 within single inverted comma, this is another one, a character. Another example, x is equals to, say, a symbol called asterisk, or we call it as star. Okay, so these are examples of character literals. Then we have the next one, that is a string literal. Okay, we have a string literal. What is a string literal? A string literal can be a character or a group of characters enclosed within double quotes. Remember, I repeat again, a string literal is a type of it refers to a single character or a group of characters, because now you know the meaning of character. So when these characters are enclosed within double quotes, double inverted comma, then they are known as string literal. For example, x is equals to 5, x is equals to a, x is equals to star, or x is equals to Anamika, or x is equals to Rajkumar within double inverted comma. So this way what happens? They are termed as string literals. It can be a single character or a group of characters enclosed within double inverted comma. So a character means a space is also a character. Please remember. So we can also include space. All right. Then we have a Boolean literal. A Boolean literal basically refers to a condition or a result of a condition. So it provides the result of a condition either in the form of true or in the form of false. So there it is either true or false. So I can write here Boolean x is equals to false. It should be, remember, whenever you write false or true, it should be written in lower case. It should not be written in upper case. Okay, you can write it true, you can write false, you can also write over here true. So this is also an example. So when you write this way, it is an example of Boolean. Then the last one, which is called null literal. Null means empty. That is, in terms of Java, it means, the null literal means, that is the initial value that is assigned to all these types of variables. The initial value assigned to integer, to floating, to character, to string, and Boolean respectively. So let us see what is the initial value, what is the null value of an integer. So if I write int x is equals to 0. So 0 is the initial value of an integer variable. Similarly, for a floating, it is 0.0. So when you assign the initial value, you should always write 0.0 for a floating literal. Okay, for every floating literal you must write 0.0. Then for a character, char x is equals to, it is single inverted comma and a space. You don't find this particular b and slash in a keyboard. So all that you have to write when you are writing a character on the keyboard is use one single space. Use the space bar once and enclose within inverted comma. Inverted comma open, press the space bar key and inverted comma close. Only once, not twice. Then it will not be considered as character otherwise. Okay. But when you write in a copy, you can write this way to represent the space. Then we have a string. If I write for string, what happens? The null value of a string, that is the initial value of a string, is at the beginning what the value of the variable stores. Okay, the particular data type variables. So string x is equals to, you can write here double inverted comma without space. There should not be even a single space also. Double inverted comma open and close. Or you can also write this way, string x is equals to null, null. This way also you can write. So any way you write, both are same. I hope it is clear to you. Then we'll move on to the next one, that is a Boolean. So for Boolean, the initial value is always false. It is not true. The initial value of a Boolean literal is always false. Okay. Next, so I hope you have understood the meaning of literals and its types. We move on to the separators. Separators in Java, they are also known as punctuators. Please remember, they are also called punctuators. You know, punctuators means, in English language we do use punctuators. In Hindi also we use study like virams, chin, and in English we have a comma, semicolon, colon sign. So these are all what you call, they represent a punctuator, punctuation mark. So what are they basically? In Java, they are symbols that has a special meaning to convey to the compiler and the Java interpreter. Okay, so they carry a specific meaning. Okay, or they convey a specific meaning to the Java compiler as well as the Java interpreter. There are 9 separators. Please remember, there are 9 separators in Java. Okay, now you can see them. 3 of them are in pairs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Okay, so there are 9 separators in Java. Please remember, the first one is your parenthesis. The first one is called, this one is called parenthesis. You'll find this, most of the what you call functions using this. Okay, we will start with the program, then I'll tell you and I'll show you that how they work. Okay, so parentheses, they are the separators that they work. They are basically used in the function. Then we have the that is curly brackets, or we also call it as flower brackets. Okay, the curly braces. Now this curly braces, what happens? They represent what is called as block. They are called block in Java. You will learn about block in detail in standard 9. Okay, then square bracket, it called, it represents an array. Okay, this one represents a function, this represents a block, curly represents a block, okay, and square represents an array. So this also you're going to study in standard 10, so I won't be discussing in detail, but just remember them. Then you have a dot operator. Dot operator means belong to. Is a dot. It means belong to. It is also known as or instance of. Okay, either belong to or instance of. That means that, like for example, we children, we belong to our parents. That means we are the instance of our parents. Okay, you will notice in many of the cases, you will find in some cases when we will be writing this way, system dot out, you can see it in your book also, println. When we write this, what happens? You see the dot operator is used. That means this is a function, it belongs to an object, and this object belongs to a class. So this is your class, this is an object, and this is your function. So function belongs to object and object belongs to class. That is the meaning of function is an instance of object and object is an instance of class. As we have already discussed in the previous classes, that object is also known as an instance of a class. Okay, so please remember this one. Then we have the next one, that is comma. Okay, we have comma there. What is the meaning of comma? What does comma stands for? Comma is used to separate what you call similar data types or similar values. Similar type of values. Like if all are integers, if there are 2-3 integers, then in that case we use comma. Okay. Then we have the semicolon. Semicolon means end of statement. Semicolon means end of statement. Okay, so whenever we write, like for example, when you write int x is equals to 5 and then we write semicolon, you have noticed me writing here. That means this semicolon indicate that this statement has ended here. Okay, so that's all about your separators. Okay, so I hope it is clear to all of you. We'll move on to the operators in the next videos. Till then, be safe. God bless each one of you. Take care and bye bye.